About an hour south of the Nashville airport along Interstate 24 lies this bridge. When you hit it, you've almost made it to Sweetens Cove Golf Club, one of the hottest brands in the golf world. And we could bore you with another story about this simple yet amazing place with owners like Peyton Manning, Jim Nance, and Keith Mitchell. Instead, we decided to just give you 10 minutes with Sweetens GM and bourbon pourer Matt Adamski all over drone footage of Golf Week's best course you can play in Tennessee.
Right?
Yeah, boys.
Oh, that is cool. Woo! All right, good work. Everybody else grab one. You have to do it.
So we're going to do a little toast before everybody else gets one real quick, and then we're going to go play some golf.
It's unbelievable. It is crazy. And every time I come here, I mean, I laugh now. I mean, coming from that category, every single day, I just think it's hilarious. I mean, like, we've figured something out. Obviously, the architecture and the golf course speak for itself, but it's like, how do you get people here? That's the biggest thing. It's like, it was impossible. And now, it's not, because we've literally taken it away from people, and our normal golf industry people, like, you know, the person that goes to Bandon, and the person that goes to Stream Song, and the person that goes to Whistling Straits, and they're like, shit, well, we got to try Sweetens Cove. And they call up, they're like, hey, we're thinking about it. I'm like, well, you missed it by like 3 months. And it sold out in 14 and a half minutes. And they're like, what do you mean? And it's like not a quantifiable thing in golf, period. Right? They don't get it. And it's just, that is funny to me. And that's amazing. And we had a cancellation one time, I don't know, for one of our events. But my whole point is that the dude, like, we put up that we had one space, and the guy drove from Colorado to here to complain it. And, like, that's the shit that happens. Whatever it was, like, that's stupid, right? But, like, you can't get here, so, like, oh, shit. And sometimes it's hilarious when we have the repeat offenders, right, is what I like to call them, and they get the deal, and they kind of, like, sit back and watch, because Colt's the Mariano Rivera of the shed, is what he is. And so he'll take care of you at the end and everything. I get you started. I check you in. I poke fun at the bear sometimes, and that's what we do. And like some people just sit back and like watch now. They're like, this is funny. Watch this. He's gonna like razz everybody here, and like this is part of it. And it's become a thing. So and then we tell you what to do. You guys go have fun. We do a toast, and we have some whiskey, and then boom, out and play golf. When I got here, it was tee times. So I have evolved it into passes, and it was an all-day rate. Wouldn't necessarily call it pass. It's like an all-day rate. Like you pay all day, and it's X amount of dollars, and etc. And then we're like, well, what if we could figure out the number of people that would make sense? We get the dollar figure we need, and people could have an enjoyable experience so that it's not so gummed up. And that's what we did. And then we had it at actually 40 and 50.
We had it 50 and 40.
Yeah, and then we evolved it because our friend, Mr. Drew Holcomb, says that he sells out every single concert by 15%. So, yeah, I know, right? On purpose. He oversells it. How about that? He oversells it because he knows there's going to be people that will not come. Something's going to happen, etc., and you can't re-get those people, no matter what. If you put the ticket back, if you could resell it real quick, it's most likely not going to happen. You're going to get a lesser rate of participation at that point in time. So we bumped it up to 60 and 45. So I think 45 is the number. 40 is a really good number. And if we get 36, I'm really happy. I know that 36 is going to fill the void, and we're going to sell a lot of merch that day, and it's going to be fantastic for everybody. In the event when we have 45, it gets a little busier. In the event that 60 show up, it's pretty busy. But what happened when I first got here is Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays would be slammed, and people would get here and they'd drive 2.5 hours away, and like legitimately they'd get here and they'd be so excited and they didn't know what to expect, and they'd go out there in their tee time and they come make the turn like, shit, this was awesome, can we go again? And we didn't say no, we need money. Well, yeah, go, sure. And then there would be a line out there though. So it became a bad experience. If like we'd say, actually, we started to say no, and people would be like, dude, I drove 2.5 hours. Like I'll stick around, and I'll wait, and whatever. So the golf course would be full, and then there would be a line of 20 people waiting on number one to get it back onto the golf course. And then, like if you were making the turn, it was irrelevant. You had to wait in line. So it kind of became a shitty experience at that point in time. So we're like, how about we limit the number of passes? So we went in 2020. in January and released Friday, Saturday, and Sundays as passes only, and all day passes only. Like you can't do 18. Well, you could. It's the same price, right? And then we were like, and we'll do tea times on the days where we can't get anybody here. Well, the tea times turned out to all of a sudden be the weekends again, and the days Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday that we could only generate $1,000. If we generated $1,000, we're high fiving each other. I mean, like we made $1,000 today. I mean, like, or maybe even those 3 days completely. We went from that to having $20,000 days, like $14,000 to $20,000 days, higher revenue days than our weekends. Because the same thing with the weekends was happening on the weekdays now, because that's the only time they could get there. And then we went that fall and we wiped them out again, and we did like we're doing passes, like strictly passes, 60 and 40 period. You come when you want, we'll get you out first thing in the morning. First right of refusal is all day passes. And if you got an 18-hole pass, you're next, and if you got a 9-hole pass, you're after that. What time does that mean? I don't know, when everybody's out. How about that? And that's it. And like now there's an expectation. Now there's some people kind of get it. Now there's like, well, there is, and it's sort of an assembly. It's controlled chaos to a point, but everybody loves it because they just go play golf. That's all you got to do. Every single morning I call it the anti-golf golf club. We are golf, but we're our own version of golf. We enjoy ourselves. We play in large groups. We don't have to wear a collared shirt. Score is irrelevant here. It's everything that golf is not, but we enjoy golf, and golf to us is making those golf shots on these holes and making them on these unique, architecturally amazing greens, right? And then it's being with the people that we brought. And that's it. That's golf to us. You can't just stick the toe in the water. Like you got to be in or out, and then you gotta own it. And like the integrity matters. So 60 people show up here, and if 40 people leave, and we have a truckload of people that was coming from Nashville or Chattanooga for the night. And they're like, hey, man, there's 6 cars in the parking lot. Can we get out and play? Like, the answer is no. Because these other people did it. We had 60. We got our number. And now these guys get rewarded with probably one of the coolest experiences they'll ever have for the evening. And it's irrelevant. And we appreciate you coming out, but we don't allow walk-ins. And we got to keep that integrity for those 60, or we're going to be overrun. The inmates will overrun the asylum, right? It's just not. It's not gonna. It doesn't work that way. So you can't ever, unfortunately, go back to that portion. And it's in like, Andy Roddick. We won't put this one in there. But Andy Roddick generally likes to say, we like to say yes. We always say yes, but we can't say yes all the time. Not in this format, because you have to do it this way. And because if you don't, we've pretty completely erased what we tried to do here. So what hopefully happens is we've dialed this in enough that it's become a thing, so much so that I'm working with a registration platform in golf, because we want through everybody. For the last 3 years, I've been in the golf business for 20 some odd years, 22 years, and I've been all in private clubs, and every single reservation system on the planet for golf is quantities of 4 and timed. And there's no other. So we had to uniquely figure out how to make this work, and it's worked. And then we've gotten just too big for it to work how we wanted it to. So I went to this company. All these companies keep coming like, "Hey, we can help you out." I'm like, "No, you can't help me out." And then I tell them the whole thing. They're like, "Oh shit, yeah, we can't help you out." And then so finally got this club caddy came to us as a offset of Jonas. I've worked with Jonas before, and Jonas is, all right. But, I'm like, oh, entertain me. And the guy was like, oh, we can help you. I'm like, oh, no, you can't. It's fine. And then he's like, we'll write you stuff. I'm like, oh. I'm like, but I'm not paying for it. And he goes, no, I think that this has a lot of merit, because I think what scares people off in the industry the most is that there's nothing like it, and we could be the first to help, like you are the first, in pushing that needle towards this direction. So it's kind of neat. So they are writing us a program so that we can take care of our patrons in a better way, and there's a better system and an all-encompassing wait list, and cancellations are easier, and it's all like you can sign up and see a whole month as opposed to 7 days in a row, and etc. And you can swipe down 60 people, you can swipe down like 40 people, you can get whatever you want, right? When you reserve that. And that's neat. And you can be As soon as something cancels, like, you can be alerted that, hey, guess what? There's a cancellation on July 11th, and you go right there instead of like, hey man, you guys have anything in July? So they're building this whole system for us for easier use for our patrons to come use it, and this is, I think it's going to be fantastic for them, and it's going to be a good way that they're going to get their foot in the door of this all-day pass thing and be able to sell it, because it's like, hey, you know, we want to help you out with your reservations. Well, we're good. Like, well, we do a lot of different other things, and this is one of them. And like Sweetens Cove, you ever heard of that? It is all-day pass thing. We kind of help crack the code with that, so we've got more options just than your normal reservations platform. And it's hilarious. And like, this is like, it brings the golf nut out of you in more ways than one. And you get here, and it's wildly fantastic. And that pretentiousness that is golf is not found here, and that's huge, and that's okay. There's a place for pretentiousness, honestly, and there's not. Like, we're not trying to be Wingfoot, right? We're not competing with Wingfoot. That's not our. We're not really competing. We're just trying to get people excited to play golf, and that when they go home, they want to play more golf.